And it looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Newton. I go by he, him pronouns, and I am running Gauntlet Comics Masks, the best, worst things about the fall. We are here with several other players from the Gauntlet who will be playing. We'll have one player coming in a little bit later on this evening, and they'll jump in when they get here. This game is a part of a seasonal series that I've trying to start up. I've done one in the summer. I'm doing one in the fall. I'm hoping to do one at Christmas and then one in the spring, and hopefully round out this series and see how that goes. We'll be having 3 sessions this month, and each of those sessions will be roughly 3 hours. We'll be playing Masks, which is a game about teenage superheroes, a game about identity, a game about them getting into trouble, getting out of trouble, having relationships, having things go horribly wrong with those relationships, and sometimes, rarely, every once in a while, things going well. But that's rare. So we're going to get started here with a discussion of our safety tools that we use as part of the Gauntlet. The standard safety tool that is present in all Gauntlet games is going to be the X card. That is a safety tool that if something comes up during the game that causes you to become upset, causes you to not be having fun, aggravates any existing trauma, causes any sort of bad feeling at all that you don't want to be a part of this game, you just make an X on your screen. You can put a type X card in the chat. You can say X card, and we will stop. We may ask a question to clarify exactly what the situation was that caused you to need to use the X card, so that we can avoid that situation in the future. We will pull back, reframe, move forward, and basically scrub that part from the game. We'll also be using, as more of a long-term way to deal with various subjects, we have a lines and veils on the safety tab in our character keeper, where everybody can add in their own personal lines and veils. A line is something that we absolutely do not want to see addressed in the game at all. I've added my personal lines of sexual violence and violence against children. I'm not interested in seeing those kind of things in my game, and since I'm facilitating it, I will generally avoid that. The veils are things that we're okay happening off screen, but we don't want to go into graphic detail with that kind of things on screen. Our current veils are consensual sex scenes, so we'll be doing sort of a fade to black with that, and violence toward animals. So that can happen off screen, but we're not going to describe that as part of our on-screen events in the game. Now, we have the X card. If anything sort of crosses the line that sort of catch you by surprise, you didn't realize might be a problem, we'll have that as well. And if anything comes up at all that doesn't, that makes you uncomfortable or harshes your fun with this game, call it out. Send me a message in the chat. Send me, use the X card to stop me, and we'll pull back and we'll solve it, because we're here for everybody in the game to have fun and for everybody to be comfortable with the things that we're doing. With that being said, I'll ask anybody here if they have anything that they'd like to add as far as safety tools that they would like to have on the table as well beyond those. If you do, I'll kind of go around the thing here and ask if anybody has any other safety tools or safety options they'd like on the table. I'll kind of start with Ferret. Ferret, do you have any additional safety tools or safety protocols you'd like to have in place as part of the game?
Nope. I've already added the ones I wanted to add.
Okay. Sarah, do you have any additional safety tools or protocols you want to add on as part of the game? You don't have to tell me what your lines and veils are. I'll find those on the sheet. But if you have other tools, like if you're interested in using script change or anything else like that, I'm comfortable with doing that, and we can talk about that as well.
I just did the first one a little bit.
Okay. And Rich, do you have any additional safety tools or protocols you'd like to have us bring in?
I do not. I'm good to go with what you already have in place.
Okay. All right. So we have a situation here where pretty much everyone has chosen their playbooks already for Masks, and has entered their all their basic information on the character keeper for the game. So we'll be able to sort of move into the portion of this where we basically have the players describe their characters, kind of their basic look, costume if they wear a costume, if they don't wear a costume, what their standard wardrobe is, and if they have a secret identity or not, and any other details about their character that they'd like to have, as part of it. Basics are playbook, what kind of powers that you have, so everybody has a sense of kind of what your character can do in the fiction. And after that, we'll go back around and ask everyone their background questions and ask them to sort of tell us about that. After that, we'll go into our relationship questions, and then we'll go into our how our team first came together questions. And after we've gotten all those relationships built, we'll work on our influence and see who has influence over who, and how that should work for everybody. Does anybody have any additional things they'd like to have us address in this sort of preliminary part of the game? Seeing none, we'll get started. For ease of sorting all this out, we can go from left to right on the character keeper for the characters who are currently here. So that would bring us first to our character who is going to confuse me the most, our Skyan, who is named Harbinger, whose name is also Chris. Oh wait, you changed it.
Okay. I changed it because I didn't. Yeah. Well, I realized this was a terrible idea and changed it. And then I changed it again, but I'm going to stick with that one. So I'm playing the Scion. Is the name Harbinger okay? Like that's fine. Okay.
The tricky part was it's also a playbook. So I was like, it's a Skyan, but it's the Harbinger. Harbinger is a really cool superhero.
I'll jump back onto Thesaurus and find. I just wanted a synonym for portents to kind of go with this magic stuff.
Since we don't actually have anybody playing the Harbinger playbook, I think it's going to be fine. That was just that's when I saw it. I was like, wait, Harbinger, and then I was, oh wait, no, that's not he's not playing a Harbinger. He's playing a character named Harbinger. So.
Yeah, well, workshopping the name. We'll say it's Harbinger for now, but maybe he'll be Shadowcat, maybe he'll be Sprite. Who knows? So as a Scion, he is the child of a supervillain. There is a supervillain in the Gauntlet comics that's never been featured in a game, as far as I know. I put him in place in preparation for a game I'll run someday called Legacies that James Stewart wrote, and Rex Midas is a bad guy in there. I kind of see him as the Lex Luthor type. No powers, just filthy rich. That's his superpower. Tech mogul, and hates aliens. Is a big thing against aliens. Harbinger as a Scion is not a fan of his dad. I think they had a pretty good relationship until Kurisu Midas woke up to exactly what things his father's schemes, what they did to the people of New Gauntlet City. So his father, who's a grand tyrant, their relationship is currently on the shifting down, but occasionally they shift back and up. He feels like this. It is his dad, but he hates what his dad does, not his dad, the person. Although what he does is because of the way he is as a person. It's hashtag complicated. And the power set that Harbinger has is he has magical aptitude and cosmic control over cosmic energies. There's a whole weird thing with a Scion. I haven't played with the Unbound playbooks before with respect instead of influence over a number of folks. I'm supposed to choose two. I only chose one because I wanted to see if there was any like pocket canon within the previous stuff that would work better. But I did definitely want to have that a person he wants to gain respect from is named Starborn, who is a big celebrity in the city, and she had a relationship with the Morrigan, who is a godling, and they recently broke up. But Starborn's still pretty darn popular. Is there anything? What else should I? Is that it? Is that good enough? Any more?
I think so. I have a couple follow-up questions just so I have an idea. So Rex Midas, is he he has that sort of Lex Luthor vibe. Is he also like the sort of diabolical genius sort of background character where, he's way too smart to get caught, but he is constantly like, operating behind the scenes to do whatever his particular nefarious ends to accomplish his various nefarious plans, right?
Yeah, yeah. And he also has a lot of connections within the city politicians. Like he's kind of brazen about getting away with stuff with superheroes, but he has no powers, so often he'll kind of play that card. Especially like any superheroes who are aliens, like he's just going to go for them full on. He really, really hates aliens. It's very like humanity, and he thinks that most superpowers are alien derived. So
was there some event in his past that led him to despise aliens like that, or is this something that he's this opinion he's just grown into?
I don't think it's anything that's been publicized or that he's ever shared with his son. Okay. But yeah, I think there was probably a catalyst that caused all of this.
Okay. And how does your magic work? You have magical aptitude. Like, do you do like classical like spell stuff? Do you have like a book that you managed to get a hold of that where you learned magic? You learned some old school like Doctor Strangey magic from it. Is it like an innate talent? Like the magic just flows through you naturally to do all sorts of weird things? How does yours work?
Yeah, his magical aptitude is not something that he's quote unquote earned. I think he would get along really well with Wildcard, except that Wildcard actually figures stuff out. Harbinger's ability has this amulet you can see in the pictures. I think it's kind of like a really powerful magical amulet that his dad procured for him at one point. And so how do I describe this without sound? So like, I think he just reaches out and grabs magical or cosmic energy and shapes it on the fly. So things for him are pretty messy. They're not very they're not refined at all. They're very powerful. They're often way more than he intended, but they usually look pretty awesome.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a Nova vibe in there. Like sometimes his powers like sort of go way farther than he wants them to.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant Nova, like isn't there a playbook Nova?
Like, well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, the Nova playbook has that sort of like problem where the Nova's powers are constantly going out of there.
Oh, right. Okay, so you did mean the playbook, not the character.
No, not
okay.
But so you've got that sort of issue. Okay, all right. I think that's all my questions for right now, and cool. We'll move to the next playbook entry, which will be Sarah's Delinquent, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So I'm playing a girl named Mara Ross. They probably gave her a superhero name at some point, but she never uses it and would tell you she forgot what it is if you asked. She's very casual, I think, and just projects this air of not caring about anything, but I think she does care about these people at least. Her powers are teleportation and power negation. And I was kind of imagining it being something that is always on, but is that the case for masks?
It entirely depends on how you want it to be. If it's always on,
it would make fights kind of difficult.
Yeah, if it's always on, they would have. That would make it sort of awkward to be around the others. But we can certainly have it be something that might slide out of your control occasionally if your character is out of sorts or angry or suffering from any other emotional condition. We could have that be a problem where you might accidentally like negate your buddy's powers when you're mad at them, that sort of thing. If that would be cool.
Sounds cool. Yep. And teleportation, what it sounds like.
Okay. Is there like a cool Is there like a cool like comic book effect to her teleportation? Like, is there like a bright shining door that she sort of just steps through to teleport, or does she just disappear and reappear, or how does it work?
I think it's like, you know, those old TV sets where the picture kind of shrinks down into nothing. Looking at her, that's what it looks like.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And let's see. She is here, I think, because someone, like some superhero, and you can maybe give me a name, like found out what she could do and sort of press ganged her into service.
Oh gosh, there are so many possibilities. Let me think about that.
Give
And
me the worst one.
oh gosh, who would be the most obnoxiously superhero? Um, hmm. How would it? How would you like it if it was someone who was just so ridiculously earnest that it's almost sickening? Like they're so earnest and they really mean every single ridiculously earnest thing that they say.
That sounds terrible. Give it to me.
Okay, I think the person who discovered you will have been El Aguila Azul. He is a
Oh.
Mexican luchador superhero, and
Oh no.
he is basically he is basically like a luchador version of Captain America. Like that's his shtick. And
I have a question for you, Rich. Why has this person not shown up in Noel?
He should have. He was hinted towards in the name of the bar, but he's a little much. Like he's just so much awesome.
yeah, he is like that sort of character, like the most earnestly corny Captain America you could get, but make it a luchador. That's him.
Well, Mara is going to hate him. All right. What else do you need to know?
And I muted myself.
Anything?
Sorry about that. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else right now. Yep, I think that's everything for right now, and we'll come back to the background questions in just a moment, and then we'll move on to Ferret. And I think Ferret has the transformed playbook to tell us about.
Yes, I do have the transformed. And hearing Rich talk, I wanted to ask Rich a question as my cat is moving my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
You say your father despises aliens. Does that mean he despises them enough to not work with their biologies or splice them with other people?
Huh. I mean, he's. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. He definitely wouldn't talk about it openly.
I think that's where I got my powers then.
Nice.
Because Haroon likes to portray himself as better than people, especially since he is now... I based his composition off of Rita Farr in the 2001 comic reboot of her, where she becomes the T-1000's goo form when she sleeps, because she has to maintain conscious control over her forms now. So, yeah, Haroon is a sapient, sentient slime ooze person. He can just take the forms of more... He imagines things, and you sort of always imagine yourself a bit better or a bit worse off. Like, you never imagine yourself as you look, but a different amalgamation of like better, worse, that kind of stuff. He sticks to the better things if he can, like suits, high fashion, anything he can get himself on. But his powers are transmutable flesh. When he fights, he's basically the monster from The Thing. Lots of tentacles, lots of like from the comic The Darkness, things with maws, things that don't look human, things to scare people with. Chthonic foo, basically. And his other is I put impenetrable armor. I want him to be basically really hard to bludgeon, punch, shoot, cut, But like any mental influences, like any kind of emotional powers, ray powers, energy powers, yeah, he's not that good against those. But he is with the team because I think now because there is the son of the person who made him this way on the team, and he's hella classy, his own words. So I'm sure he can find a place in Jack Flash's media sensation outlook and outreach. And you've got to have people look better then, since this is a stepping stone for him. That's and he goes by Monochrome because that was what PR'd the best.
Okay. When he has transmuting flesh, like what sort of, I mean, does his flesh like change its elemental affinities? Like when he can he change his limbs into like, now my limbs are like, now my fists are actually made of metal, or now my fists are made of felt, or that sort of,
No,
like, is it?
he's basically like the ooze composition. Like he can make his fists like very like he can put a lot of mass behind different things. Like, you know, he can make his fist look like a tentacled mace on the end, but without that mass, it's just going to be like being hit by a bunch of water.
Okay, so he's basically like shifting mass to create these effects. He's not changing the elemental status of his flesh.
Yeah, he's a much more morbid plastic man.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. I think that that gets us to where we are with everybody's characters to start off with. Next, I will ask everybody to go through your backstory questions with us. Some of these we've already filled in a little bit, but we'll kind of go through them specifically so we highlight the particular questions for each playbook. We'll start again with our with our Skyan Harbinger to let us know what their background questions are and what their answers to them are.
Oh, interesting. A lot of them already. Who's your supervillain parent? Rex Midas, genius billionaire and inventor who told you about your parents' true nature. I hadn't opened that or hadn't answered that one yet. Do you think the intent of that question is a player character, or you create another NPC to say?
Most of the background stuff tends to want to focus on additional NPC relationships.
Okay.
So I'd say feel free to create an NPC that kind of lets you know. It could be like an old family employee, a cousin.
It's going to be an old butler. It's got to be an old butler, kind of the Alfred of the. So nice. Hold on. I will go to the story games names, and there's the one that's like the faux English names that always has some great ones, like Elsbeth, and where is that one? Pseudo English. Hold on. Laudius. I love the story games name.
Hey, that's perfect. Laudius, and I will say that much like Logan, you do not know if that's his first name, last name, middle name. It's just the only name you know.
Yeah, I'll just call him Mr. Laudius. So
now, does he still work for your dad?
I think no. I think he actually quit. Like, it got so much that he quit, and that he wrote a very beautiful letter to Kurusu to let him know.
And do you think he still maintains any sort of connection with you, or has he tried to cut ties so that he doesn't draw your dad's attention to you?
I think he still like writes letters and occasionally calls him on the telephone. He doesn't truck with social media.
What sort of person is this? He calls and hand writes letters?
I know. It's really weird. He's super old.
Okay. All right. And what's your next question?
Who outside the team helps you on your chosen path? And I think it's Allison Chan, who's my best friend from this school. I think she has like a super minor power, though. I don't know if you guys seen the Disney movie Sky High, but I think she's like got below sidekick level power, like just almost like weird mutant power to turn into a hamster or glow like a nightstick kind of thing. She can transform into any Angora ferret. Allison Chan.
There you go.
Oh, why do you care about the team? Every victory we have earns me a bit more respect from the city. It makes my dad so very annoyed.
I can definitely see Rex Midas like watching on television every time you like fight off some plan that was some villain that was probably part of one of his 50,000 existing plans, and just every time he has to pour himself another drink. And
yes, totally a superhero out of sight. Good call.
Okay, and the next entry on our playbook on our character keeper is Mara. What are Mara's background questions, and what are her answers to them?
How did you get your powers? I think she was bored of them, but this is also totally what she would have chosen if she'd been given a choice. What does she do for fun? Little B&E. I think that's actually how she met. What's his face?
El Águila Azul, the Blue Eagle. So I think that's perfectly in character. Like, do you think she does like? How does she usually do her like minor criminal activities as her pastimes? Like,
Well,
is it more vandalism type stuff? Like, does she like break into a Walmart and like paint paint anarchist slogans all over the shelves, or does she like does she mess with people's cars? Like, what kind of things does she like to do?
I think she takes things like little things. Stores, yeah, but she'll like go into people's houses and take like this glass with goldfish on it that she likes, and just wander and see the interiors of people's lives and like a kind of like go through their drawers of things and just it's not like it's a way of kind of seeing inside them without actually having to talk to them.
Do you think this is something she might deny this, but do you think this is some aspect of her actually wanting to have a more normal life than she has? That she would like break into other regular people's houses and like pick the most innocuous like little items that they have, like their little glass with little goldfish painted on it or something like that. Is that kind of part of that, or is it something else?
I don't know if it's that she wants a more normal life, because I feel like maybe just a different life.
Okay, she likes to see how other people do it, but she's perfectly happy being Mara 24/7, or as much as you can be as a teenager. I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what is your next background question?
Who outside of the team thinks better of you than you do? The Blue Eagle, obviously.
Oh, he's one of those people that ridiculously thinks the best of everyone. So he definitely knows you could do better.
And I think Mara, I think when he shows up, it's all like rolling eyes and whatever, dad. But I think she kind of secretly likes it.
I can see that. He's it's kind of like trying really hard not to like a puppy, like a really exuberant like Labrador. Like that's kind of the vibe he projects, I think. It's like, yes, it's kind of annoying to have them jump up on you and slobber a lot, but he's just so he's a Labrador. So okay, and what's your next question?
Why do you try to be a hero? They won't let me be anything else. And this is also where I can use my powers in a way that people will like. I can do cooler stuff here than I would be able to do on my own. Just like see weirder things.
And maybe you can get away with a little bit
Experience
more. You can get away with this a little bit more because you're a superhero.
Yeah, like they actually send me to break into houses sometimes.
Okay. And your last question, I think, is everybody's last question. Why do you care about this team?
I think we've done enough together at this point that it's like sense of belonging, not bonding through trauma, but bonding through just shared experience.
Okay. I can see that. All right. That's finishes out your background questions, and we'll come back around to the relationship questions and the influence stuff later. Then we come to Ferret and Haroon / Monochrome are transformed. What are your background questions?
Okay. Who were you before? Better than you. That's all you really need to know. I think in the actual example, he was like an up-and-coming model or influencer kind of thing. Like the people that don't really work, but they had like either great luck coming up into the realms or great backstories and backgrounds to pay for it. And when did you change? What caused it? He will say he likes to do it as a rumor of like an ex cursing him for being, for leaving her and leaving her heartbroken, because that's more sellable than being, I was captured by a madman and injected with alien blood until I turned into an ooze. And who outside the team is helping you understand your new body? Letitia LaGrange. She's a fashion icon, and I can form any clothing I think of on me. It works as interesting training. So she's basically helping him focus how he can transform his body's flesh, for lack of a better term, into anything he wants, and she's trying to stretch his mind beyond just the mediocre, I have big fist, I have big punch now. And why don't you just try to hide yourself away? I looked good before. Now that I can control it, I can look the best. Sure, it's black and white, but that's hella classy.
Okay, and why do you care about this team?
Because they accept me. Without all these annoying questions being thrown my way. You stick with the people who accept you, unless you're an idiot.
Okay. Okay, I think that fills in everybody's questions. Now let's move into our relationship questions. And if anyone wants to include the internet star Jack Flash as part of their questions, Alex said he was generally going to be okay with that if anybody has any ideas in that respect. And we'll sort of go back around and start again with Rich and Harbinger.
We do all relationship questions at once, or
okay. Yeah, let's do both of yours, and then we'll do both of Mara's, and then both of Monochrome's.
My first one is blank is the only one who understands what I'm going through. I told them which part of me I wished was more like my father. Does Mara understand what I'm going through? Haroon seems to have it all on top, and I think Haroon is the second one anyway. So I think Mara.
Well, maybe Jack for having.
What is it that you think you're like? How do you feel about what you're going through?
I think everyone, well, and if you look at the moves that I chose, everyone expects him to be the next bad guy, that he's nothing but trouble. And he's actually trying to do the right thing.
That's a really interesting mirror then.
Cool.
Because Mara, people expect more of her than she feels like she can give, at least with what's his face. I'm just gonna keep calling him what's his face.
The Blue Eagle.
And I feel like we've probably definitely had some conversations where like we're like diametrically opposed in some ways as well, because
Yeah.
your father is like such a big influence, and
Mm-hmm.
I am sort of at least publicly trying to reject the influencer of
I
me.
dig it. Cool. So yeah, I think I whine to you, and you tell me it's no big deal, and I think that's fine.
What are you even worried about?
You mad? I'm not mad. I'm just drawing that. No, and I think definitely my father once fought and thrashed Monochrome. I'll tweak that just slightly because of the history that we have. So my father did terrible things to Monochrome, made him the monster that he is. So I've got to find a way to make it up to him, probably with magic.
Magic fixes everything.
Yep.
It never goes wrong. It always works.
I mean, right. So far, my magic has mostly been giant blasts of things to take down large threats, but I'm sure that I can refine it. It'll be fine.
Skipping back a little bit, there's a second part to
Ooh.
that tie. I told them which part of me I wished was more like my father.
Oh, nice. So I think it's he would never talk about this where his father could hear it because he'd never hear the end of it. But his father's meticulous and he's precise, and Kurosu's magic and his style is kind of haphazard and a little sloppy, and he makes messes, and his dad is just perfect at getting away with things. And I think he wishes he could get it together.
Excellent. Sarah, what would you like to tell us about Mara's relationship questions?
You keep trying to impress blank with your antics. I think Jack Flash makes the most sense for this one.
I know that Jack, that character, does love a little bit of sort of sideways hero worship, and I think they will be happy with that.
I kind of get the feeling that I have like suppressed her powers like on purpose sometimes just to show that I can. Probably hates it.
Oh, that would drive her batty because her powers are like 90% of her presentation. Like it's light shows and things like that. Like she's constantly fiddling with that stuff. So I think that would definitely work out. What about your second question?
You and blank pulled an awesome, if illegal, stunt together. Who would be willing to commit an illegal act? Because it was definitely illegal.
Oh, as long as it's fashionable, I'm willing.
How much of a show would it have been?
Well, like by fashionable, it could have been like breaking into a well-known icon or like New Gauntlet City star's home and, taking the private tour until we got found.
Oh, sure.
And, exploring how fun B&E is when you can literally slip under the door cracks.
So, whose house have we snuck into?
Yeah,
Chris, who's the worst person?
Let's see. God, I'd almost. Who would be a really good person to have had their house snuck into? And it has to be like someone iconic as well. It can't be just just some schmo. So let's see here.
Would Rex Midas make sense?
It could, but
Or is he super secret?
well, you would know him as like the super rich, like billionaire, tech billionaire / inventor.
Oh,
/
so he's not like out as a supervillain or anything.
Oh, no. Oh,
Also not super like fashionable. He's like,
Hmm.
was like breaking into Steve Jobs' house. Like, how exciting is that? Hey,
Alex, welcome. See, we're just getting to relationship questions, so you came in just in time to get into the middle of that. And you're muted.
Never used him before, so okay. Just finished running a game, of my own. So let me pull up the drive and such.
Okay, we'll finish up doing these, and then I'll loop back around to catch you at the end. Okay.
I kind of like Rex Midas. It makes things
A nice little back loop into and that can pull in Harbinger as well into getting in all sorts of trouble. I like it. So there's nothing really fashionable about Rex's place. I get the impression he is someone who wears the same gray to black suit, white shirt, red tie, like literally like 90% of his wardrobe.
Walk-in closet full of it.
Charcoal, but there are all sorts of different grays. There's charcoal gray. There's like basic gray. There's like gray but spelled with an EY.
So monochrome. Let me ask you a question. What did you tell me that convinced me to break into this person's house specifically?
Oh dear. That you would see things you had never seen before, because I was pretty sure I could get you into the labs down below.
And we didn't, and I was super disappointed.
Correct. Because you've seen gray suits before, even those with the EY.
I can certainly see that, and I can see it being a situation where you guys just the labs are down there, but you have absolutely no idea how Rex would access them from his residence. They're definitely down there. Monochrome, you know they're down there, but
I tried to twist every statue's head. It didn't work.
you did break a lot of his statues, and they were all of him. So okay. All right. So, Sarah, I think that hits both of your relationship questions. So now we will move to monochrome.
And just a heads up for Alex. For my first relationship, I chose your character. You keep trying to impress Jack Flash with your antics.
Nice.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds. Think the delinquent in the last game Jack was in did that one too. It makes sense. I like it. Jack is that kind of person.
Okay. So, all right, let's move into Monochrome's 2 relationship questions.
Okay. First, someone comforted me when I was at my lowest. I can see this being either Mara or Harbinger. Just depending if Harbinger actually found me and got me out of his dad's labs versus
I really like that. I mean, I don't want to step on if Sarah is chomping at the bit. Yeah, I really like that as being the first thing that Kurusu did to fight against his father was helping to save Monochrome. That would be fun. And of course, there's super guilt, but yes.
There's not going to be any anger in my mind of you seeing my true sleeping form at all. No. And for the other one, because I was like an up-and-coming influencer in the media age, I think it is Jack Flash knew me before I changed.
I am into it.
Okay, and that puts us in a good position to circle back around to Jack Flash's relationship questions.
All right, sick. So let me just. Oh, I knew Harun before. Okay. Blank might wind up being more of a star than me someday. I don't know how much detail you introduced Jack and Chris.
Just the bare basics. I didn't want to throw too much of your.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, streaming video. She is not really a great person. I mean, she's not like evil or anything, and she does actually care about people, but she's like a teen and is mean in the way teens often are. And she has a overbearing mother who partially manages her media presence. So yeah, who wants to be more of a star? Maybe someday, than Jack Flash.
I definitely would. I mean, I've got better powers.
We'll see about that. It's pretty cool. I do like, you got a very good aesthetic going. I see it. I can see it. You dress so well. Impressive, invulnerability and such. I like it. And Blank would be a great sidekick. I try and keep them around. I could see this being Mara just based on her.
Well, I try to impress you by making your life as difficult as possible.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, I see. By blocking her powers at the worst times. Nice. So I don't know anything about Harbinger. So I mean, I don't know.
Harbinger is the son of a Lex Luthor type villain who's trying to make good and live out from under his father's shadow. He has kick-ass magic powers.
All right. I could see it being anyone. I don't think Mara. I think Mara's blocking Jack's powers at inconvenient times would be annoying, but I feel like it's the kind of thing Jack would kind of actually respect a little bit.
I'm down for it if you are.
Like she is also a huge pain in the ass, so, and knows it. So, yeah, that works for me.
Okay, I think that gets everybody's relationship questions down. Now we need to go through and set influence. Each playbook has their own rules for how to set influence, and we can go through those. The first one we come to on our character keeper is our star. So let's take a look at, take a look at what your influence standards are.
Yeah, I believe it's basically just okay. Yeah. Choose how you see the team, as a means to an end or as something worthwhile on its own. If you see the team as a means to an end, give no one influence. If you see the team as something worthwhile, give 3 teammates influence. I do think she thinks of the team as something worthwhile, not only because people having influence over her is more interesting, but also she may be self-absorbed, but she does also do all this because she genuinely wants to be a hero. Okay. And she enjoys being with people who, theoretically at least understand her. So yeah, everybody can have influence.
Perfect. Just as a little bit of backtrack, would you mind going through Jack Flash's backstory questions for everybody? Just so we kind of have
Yeah.
a little bit more idea of what her background was before she jumped into this team.
Yes. So when you first appear on screen, I said is a hilarious YouTube fails compilation on her basically eating shit while trying to levitate or jump around with her powers. And shockingly, that did not discourage her. Like the video going viral, despite like it, being at her expense, like only, encouraged her to further pursue like fame. And it was people paying attention to her. Mom probably helped encourage it too, because I don't know, viral videos can make money, man. What do you tell people about how you got your powers? Just born with it, baby. She's just like always had cool ass electric powers. More often than not, she's not using it like Electro style, but more like Magneto style to like, run currents through things and make them levitate or make herself levitate or jump real high. Or like float or whatever. Her mother is the one outside of the team who supports her burgeoning star in every way possible. Patsy Flash, just great. I don't know who here has seen Jessica Jones, but she's literally just Patsy's mom from Jessica Jones. And who outside of the team loathes what you represent. She has a younger brother. He's like, I don't know, like a freshman in high school maybe, or 8th grade, something like that. And he does not have any powers. And he resents Jack's, he resents all the attention Jack gets, both from their mother and from the world at large. And why does she care about the team? Sort of alluded to this. She likes to act as if she doesn't care, but she fundamentally wants to do good and be with people who understand her.
Okay. All right. I think that gets us to where we need to be on the relationships, and we'll continue with our influence. Next in line would be our Harbinger, or Skyan. Or Cyan, you have a different kind of setup for this sort of thing. So lay that out for us.
Yeah, so I do and I don't. I actually have influence vis-a-vis team members, but then I have this whole subsystem because Masks loves their subsystems, where I write down the names of at least 2 other characters whose respect I need to earn in order to differentiate myself from my parent. And I may fill in new names whenever appropriate. I have decided, with your permission, Chris, that I've wrote these all down around row 92. That New Gauntlet City's biggest celebrity, no offense, Jack, but is Starborn because she's been here longer. And then my personal idol, because of my magical aptitude and occasional problems, is Wildcard. Are you good with Wildcard being all right, sir, appearing in this film? Cool. So Wildcard is the personal idol, and the way that it works is that if I would take influence, I check respect. When I seek out one of those characters, I have a roll plus savior, and I can track them down. And if I lose influence over the character, I lose respect, and every time I reach 4 respect, I take an advancement. And when I have 4 respect on an individual, I can reject their influence with a +3 and take a +1 to a label of their choice. If I dip below 4 respect on an individual, I lose their benefits. So it's a whole thing. I actually chose this playbook before I even saw this section. So hopefully we can get through it together. But the influence part, the team may be the key to proving you're different from your parent, but you don't want to be defined by your peers either. Give influence to 2 teammates. I'm going to choose Jack, and also I think I'm going to choose Monochrome. I would have allow Mara to have influence, but she doesn't want it. So obviously, I know her that well.
Sounds great. Okay, now let's move to Mara and her influence questions. You are the delinquent playbook, so that gives you a.
Yes, you care way more than you long. Give three teammates influence over you. So, take it.
You'd never admit it, but you do really care. Okay, Monochrome.
I try not to care what everyone thinks, but it's hard to shut people out. I only give one person influence. Now fight for it. No, I'm thinking probably either Jack or Harbinger has it.
I can see both of those.
Yeah, what I will say is Jack would very much like to have influence over everybody. So respond to that as you may.
Okay, I will do this pragmatically. It looks like Harbinger will not be leading us into battle, and you trust your lieutenant. So Jack, take influence over Monochrome.
Note to self, lead group into battle.
Note to self, get my good side, Jack.
I'm sorry, did you say Jack is your lieutenant?
I'm not good with terms.
Just, it's funny implying that she's subordinate in, any way.
But a lieutenant is an officer, so Okay, so
yeah, but you don't say somebody is your lieutenant. Like, I don't know, without any other context, it definitely sounds like, Monochrome is calling himself the captain, It's just saying.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the last thing we'll do before we take our break is the questions about how your team came together. I asked these in a particular order because we're using all these crazy new playbooks in this one. So I reorganized them, and I stole this reorganization from a Reddit group somewhere because it kind of made sense. So I'm going to go through and ask the questions in this particular order in order to kind of give us a better picture, I think, and chronology of how you guys came together and what factors were involved. So to start out with, we have a delinquent. So Mara, when you guys first came together, you totally broke some major rules to win that fight. What rules did you break, and whose rules were they?
We belong to some sort of supers organization.
Yeah,
that tells us what to do, sort of.
They don't really tell you what to do, but they sort of they suggest things, and they have hey, here's some things you could do. They will give you like a brochure about different things that they would really like it if you guys could do, and but they don't hand you missions. It's more aggressive. Of it. Yes, they're really they probably would be better served if they actually did hand you guys missions, to be honest, because then they could track your progress and things like that. But they're not quite that organized with this program yet. So they do have rules. It's Eon. They're kind of like Shield, so you could have broken some of their rules if you wanted, and we can work that in. Just there's the standard city laws, destruction of private property, all those kinds of things floating out there. Rules just everywhere, waiting to be broken by you to win this fight.
Nothing as mundane as destruction of property, I think, but something along those lines. What else do we break? Yeah. If anyone's got a great idea, hit me.
I would imagine Aeon, because they are they deal with aliens as well as supers, that maybe we stole some alien technology and used it against some major foe.
Oh, and they had to like. Do we still have it? Let's still have it.
No, we don't have it.
Yep.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you right, you basically breached an Eon cache of alien technology and used some alien device to defeat whatever this foe was.
Hmm.
And
Maybe there's something like buried underneath the city or something, and I like teleported in and just borrowed something.
that works perfectly. They weirdly enough, they have no way to defend against random superhuman teleporter powers because there's legit no way to defend against them all. All of them work differently. So you teleport in, you grab something, you used it, and they realize you took it. They realize that you used it in the battle, and they know you haven't brought it back yet, but they have no idea where you got it, and they haven't really brought it up yet. Okay.
They won't, I'm sure.
Okay. Let's see. Our next question will come from our star. You as a team attracted the attention of a major media outlet within the city thanks to those efforts in that battle. What was the organization or media outlet, and why did they choose to support you?
Do we know who we were fighting?
We haven't answered that yet, so we can. Obviously, it was a big enough threat to need, a super alien technology to defeat. So we can put that out there. Does anybody have any ideas for exactly what it is? Jack, you're on plate right now. You want to throw out there what you think it might have been?
I'm gonna say some sort of surprise extra-dimensional invader. Because need alien shit to beat alien shit.
To tie into this, I think Rich said that Karisu needs Starborn's respect, and Starborn is a better star than you. She's also an alien.
But Starborn, I think, is a superhero, right? Am I correct in that, Rich?
Starborn is a superhero, but perhaps.
Oh, maybe she was mind controlled.
Oh, that's it. This classic comics.
That's why we needed the tech. We couldn't take down a superhero. We needed the tech to help.
What do you think of that? Does that work in with everybody? Does anybody have anything that anything that they want to add or change about that idea that you had to fight a mind controlled superhero? Seeing no other objection. Okay.
Yeah,
that's who you're thinking. So which media outlet covered you, and why do they love you guys so much?
So that's tricky since it's a major celebrity. I kind of like the idea that it's like a sketchy tabloid. It's this is the good stuff right here. Hero teens, stop pro hero gone amok, sort of thing.
Okay, what is the name of this tabloid news media outlet?
So I have a suggestion of a thing that exists in Gauntlet Comics. It's called SEEYAC.com. It's a website, blog, online broadcast, the internet destination focused on breakups that occasionally set up honey trap scams for juicy gossip and pictures about supers. They're also the ones who broke the big story about Morgan and Starborn, who were dating at the time that they had a falling out. Just throwing it out there. You choose what you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're like a subsidiary of the same like media company. But it's I don't know.
They do have a bad history with Starborn.
Yeah. No, I like it. Sia.com. Whoever runs that.
So they latched
so-
onto you guys because they don't like Starborn right now because maybe she's suing them over that Morgan story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys got to publicly blast her with some sort of alien technology super weapon that you had to steal from Eon, like they liked that. They covered it. And
yeah. Oh, sorry. Can't imagine Starborn loves all that bad press.
That's going to be an uphill battle for you, Harbinger.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with a hard uphill battle. Let's do it.
Okay, and the next person to answer the question is our Skyan Harbinger. Someone important learned about your lineage and condemned us all and condemned all of you because of it. Who was it that learned it, and why did it make a difference to them?
So his lineage, it'd have to be somebody who's been hurt by Rex Midas in the past. So
that line forms to the left, I think.
Yeah. But I think maybe, I don't know how much alien stuff we want to throw in here. So maybe we go with Alexis Greenfield. Alexis Greenfield is a human, but she's kind of she was, if I remember, she was like Silver Age. Let me double check. But she's the plucky, the kind of the plucky, smart heroine of a bygone era. She actually won the attraction of the Illyrian Emperor when they were trying to attack Earth and take it over because it was in the way of a superhighway they wanted to put up. And Alexis convinced them of the worth of Earthlings because she's just that awesome. And I think, when she found out about Kursu and his affiliation with Rex Midas, that was the last straw for her.
Okay, why did she stretch to condemn the whole group because of realizing who you might have been related to?
I mean, look at Mara. Really? I mean, she's trouble, and then Jack is just a kind of basically like that K-Train, and Monochrome's some kind of weird experiment. So, yeah. Everybody okay with that?
That sounds like a perfectly irrational adult, which always makes for a great masks game. All adults, are just a little bit stupid and tend to overreact. So I think that makes perfect sense. So Alexis Greenfield will be the person who has condemned you all and speaks out against you whenever she can because she knows that you're part of another Rex Midas plot. I see that. I like it. Okay. Next, we come to our transformed. You drew the attention and ire from plenty of people during this fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears you. Who is it?
I would prefer it to be like instead of fear, more of like a loathing, like the X-Men kind of thing. But I was thinking Phoebe T. Buck, the I think she's the CEO and tech genius of Optimax Industries. I think she was trying to show off Optimax's new "We don't need superheroes" anti-mind control technology, and it didn't work. And we were needed to save her ass, which is not good PR for her.
Wait, you said she's trying to show off anti-mind control technology?
Or like,
and then what's her face was mind controlled?
I think it was like she was trying to, we can stop this rampaging hero by ourselves. We will I mean, we don't know if she set it up. That's a good question. I think it's like some kind of like neural interface dissonance ray or something that just did not work with. Maybe it was Starborn's biology. Maybe it's just that it was not created well.
Okay, so we think maybe they created something that maybe on a human it would have worked, but
Yeah.
interacting with Starborn's alien physiology, it actually created a vulnerability to mental domination. Maybe.
Correct.
Okay. And she is furious at us in particular because we had to fight Starborn. It was a super public thing. We made a big deal out of it by stealing that device from Eon, by getting covered by that Sia.com site and it getting plastered everywhere, all over the internet about the entire situation. And she got name checked on the internet so many times. Every internet search now has that as its top result for her name and her company.
Oh yes, C has got to have made her a meme queen.
Yeah, so she will get you. She will come for you all. Okay. And if you guys would like, now that we finish that up, any NPCs that you've outlined that you've noted as your answers to your history questions or as part of the response to how the team came together, if you have some details and things like that you'd like to add about them, feel free to create an entry on the NPCs and stuff tab on the character keeper for them. And any details you'd like to have highlighted or anything you want to bring to my attention that you'd like to have cause trouble or make a mess in the game, I will be happy to bring that in. We've reached about our halfway point now. We finished up all of our basic character creation stuff. Does anybody have any other aspects of their characters or their character's background or anything that you'd like to highlight in particular before we take our break and get ready to move into throwing you guys into some sort of absolutely ridiculous superhero battle? Seeing none. Okay, this is the time when we will take a let's see, we'll take a 5-minute break. Is that comfortable with everybody, or will we need to make it 10? Is 5 good for everybody? Okay. All right. We'll come back at 9:40 and we'll hit the ground running with our super battle. Let's see, Alex, I wanted to apologize. I had completely forgotten that you had emailed me about this, about being a little bit late. And I was like, wonder what happened to Alex. And then Ferret reminded me, oh, yeah, he said he emailed you. And I was like, oh, yeah, he did.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad then that Ferret messaged me, because yeah, I was little bit busy playing the devil.
Hey.
Literally,
it is super fun to play the devil. Like, okay, so let's see. Oh, I'm still waiting on Rich. Okay.
I don't love that I can't see everybody in this. Like,
no, you should be able to switch your view to have everybody kind of on a grid. I think it's in the top right-hand corner, I believe, is the control to set it to a grid view. There's a speaker view, and then there's a grid view. And you want to go to, like, it's called gallery, I think. Top right-hand corner.
Of
the Zoom screen.
Oh, I'm in the browser version. Maybe that's it.
Okay. It might be in the menu. At the menu, there should be at the bottom of the screen. You should see something like the chat button to open up the chat window.
I see that.
And there should be hopefully some sort of view option down there for
There's participants. There's share screen. There's more, but that just says disable video receiving. There's invite. There's yeah.
And there's nothing in the top right hand corner of your window at all. Drat, I'm sorry, dude.
That's all right. I'll just have to download the client, I guess.
Yeah, the app is free to use unless you're trying to host through Zoom. If you're hosting, there's like a monthly fee to host. That's it.
Yeah, I just did the browser one because it was like, oh shit, it's 6 o'clock. I want to be as less late. So that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Keep that in mind for next week, though.
And you can also change your display name if you decide to do that. If you click in the top right-hand corner of your picture, there should be like 3 little dots. If you open that, it gives you the option to rename.
All right. I like my name, so.
Okay, not a problem.
I guess some people are. That makes sense. Like changing it to. Okay.
Your super
That
name.
makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody?
There's a raise hand function. That's fun.
Oh, there we go. We could use that. You can use that as an X card if you need to. The raise hand function. I hadn't noticed that myself. Okay. Ferret and Sarah, do you guys have any questions or anything before we before I sort of frame everything up into the fight once Rich gets back?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Well, first, Sarah's rat was amazingly cute.
They are ridiculously cute. Like. Okay, now that we're going to be getting into me talking a lot to frame things up, once Rich gets back, I will apologize in advance. I am in my second summer sinusy head cold phase. So occasionally, like, my voice will start to get really nasally as my sinuses slowly clog themselves again. So apologize in advance. If I start to get a little too drony, I'll break for just a second so I can blow my nose and clear that out so I can sound like a person again. Okay. Okay. Looks like we've got everybody back. Oh, Sarah just stepped away for a second. Here she is. Okay. All right. I'm going to hard frame this up a little bit. what we see as our comic frame sort of focuses in and pans around is we see this. It looks like an office building, but it's one of those office buildings where it has like a commercial, like a commercial floor on the main floor itself as you walk in. So it's got like lots of offices in the high rise part of this building, but in the bottom floors, it's got like the equivalent of like a mini mall inside the bottom of this building. There's like a couple of boutique clothing stores. There's like a jewelry store, watch, a really fancy watch store, all sorts of just things that really just give you tons and tons of ways to spend a ridiculous amount of money on things that realistically probably aren't worth what they're asking to spend on them, but part of the experience is spending these ridiculous amounts of money on these things for the people who are shopping here. And we see, and I'm going to try out the screen share function here. So bear with me for a moment. I'm going to show you some of the characters that are creating a ruckus here. First, we have a series of people that are dressed in. They're not superhero costumes or supervillain costumes, but they're close. You have this fellow here who is dressed like a comedy adult art character. And you have a series of other characters who are also dressed in that same sort of outfit. Okay. And these people are all seem to be involved in basically trying to steal various things from each of these stores. And I think what we see first is we hard frame in on the guy in the red pajamas. He is basically at the ATM in this thing, and he has a large pouch that he has hanging on the front, almost like a trying to think of the right word for it. Basically one of those little zip pouches that you can wear kind of on a belt. He has an extremely large one of those that he's pulled around into front, and he is hitting this ATM with some sort of stick that he has in his hand. And every time he hits the ATM, it starts spitting out more of its cash into this pouch he has. And this pouch should have filled up a long time ago, but it's not. Yeah, belly bag, fanny pack. But it's all turned, and it's seems to be taking in way more stuff than it should be able to hold, and he is continuing to do that. We hard frame in, and we spin around, and we see, I think we see Monochrome, and Monochrome is engaged in a battle with the fellow in the multicolored suit with all the different little glass panels that we saw a minute ago. I'll do that again just so we can so you can get a look at that outfit again. This fellow, and also dancing with that very colorful individual is a lady in a full dress with her hair done up. As you see this individual here, they are dancing in a way that is violent, and when they impact and when they make connections with whoever they hit is fairly painful. So that's who we're seeing that's who we're seeing engaging there. Now, I'm going to start with you, Monochrome. You saw these people start to just breaking into these stores and just taking things without seemingly much rhyme or reason, except for the weirdo who's got the belly bag that's filling up with money from the ATM. But these two individuals, you recognize them as characters from a comedy dell'arte show. They're dressed as Harlequin and Columbina. And they are dancing together, and their dance is super violent and is breaking lots of things. Somewhat comedically, perhaps, but every time they make contact with one of the windows on these shops, the glass shatters, and they grab some expensive article from the window display and spin away with it. And I think you are trying to engage them in trying to stop them. Tell me, how are you trying to get a handle on these two dancers?
I think like the first panel we see Monochrome's face. He's running, and he's just saying like, "Oh, postmodern Dadaism is crime. K-Train's going to have a field day with this." And he starts approaching these two, getting closer and closer, and they ram into him, and he feels like the impact. It doesn't hurt him as much thanks to his powers, but it's like, oh, well, this explains why they're breaking glass and doing all this stuff. So he'll try to assault them as best he can to like pin them down by, as I said, like with a thing. He sort of splits into two gigantic parts, where like his legs are like the only human thing left, and just a lot of tendrils start spilling down from the air as he begins trying to pin them down into like a cage they cannot break through.
Okay. Are you making like a cage effect, or are you trying to make a net? Like, how are you having these tendrils sort of trying to capture them?
They're raining down like every time they get close to something, like a bar will appear and sort of like ping them off into another direction. He's trying to form like this, again, like he was saying, postmodern Dadaism, like this more like a cat's cradle type of cage of just too many things to go through.
Okay. Now, we're going to roll a move here. And my first question to you is, how are you approaching this problem? Are you trying to basically, alter their environment in a way that makes it harder for them to dance? Or do you think you're taking a step beyond that to directly engage them as a threat in order to try and take them down or capture them?
I think I think I'm directly engaging a threat, and I'm trying to activate my character move, Not Human Enough, by doing it in a terrifying fashion of slime chthonic foo.
Okay, your move, Not Human Enough, allows you to directly engage a threat in a terrifying fashion. And in doing that, you would mark a condition to choose an additional option, even on a miss. So what condition do you choose to mark here?
I think the condition I'm going to mark right now is guilty. If we had been here earlier, maybe I could have saved some of these stores.
I think that works. You can put any kind of value at all in the grayed out box next to guilty, and it will activate that condition and give you the information you need to deal with that condition during play. Okay, now we'll need to roll plus danger to directly engage a threat. Do you have the roll for your party link already?
I do not.
Okay, I will put it in the link. It is listed on the moves sheet of the character keeper as well, but I'm going to paste it into the chat. It is the visually valued cockatoo.
Okay. I will... Oh, there's no black. I'll just use the boring white dice then to keep to my... Oh, I forgot my name. Oh, I got a 10. So I get to choose 3 options total.
You get to choose 3 options. Which 3 options from the directly engage a threat list do you want?
I believe I will choose all but to resist or avoid their blows. With them banging into my body, I cannot stop but from taking their attacks. But I will take their movement from them. I will create a stage for my allies to directly engage them. And I think this is more impressive than surprising or frightening to Harlequin and Cullum and her dance partner.
Harlequin is actually the male, yeah. And Columbina is the lady. And I think you see them like they start to just spin in a more tight formation, like they're dancing more closely together. Their style changes a little, you see, because they're not able to flail out like they were, because you've taken that ability away from them. And they don't have as much place to go to avoid an engagement from one of your other allies. And you can see that they are, the masks they're wearing, well, Columbina doesn't have a mask on at all. And the Harlequin mask only covers the upper part of the face. So I think you can tell from the expressions on each of their faces that this is more opposition than they were expecting to see here. And they're not sure how to necessarily deal with it. So I think they are definitely taken aback by this sudden change of their circumstances. Now, I think Monochrome mentioned our internet star. Our internet star's arch nemesis, K-Train, and I think that's going to definitely pull everybody's attention to Jack Flash. Jack, you are coming in from roughly the same direction, I think, as Monochrome, and you see Monochrome sort of managing those two dance partners and sort of corralling them into that much more limited space, keeping them away from the other people who were sort of cowering behind like clothing racks and shoe stands and all sorts of other things to try and avoid these people lashing out. Do you think you want to engage those two to see if you can help Monochrome remove them from the playing field, or do you want to try and engage one of those other cartoonishly attired individuals?
So how many other cartoonishly attired individuals are there?
We have a total of 5 of them. We have those 2 who are dancing. We'll sort of count them as one unit right now because they're dancing together. You have the sort of white clad face painted clown, but he's a monochrome clown. Sorry, Monochrome.
Yeah.
He is basically in a white suit with sort of black trim and a black skull cap. And his face and arms and hands are all painted white. He seems to be basically going through and almost acting sort of clueless to all the chaos that's really going on. Like he's actually it looks like he's going through each shop and browsing pointedly. Like he's currently in a very fashionable men's clothing store, and he is like looking at the suits and suit jackets and feeling the material and just acting like none of this is really going on at all. Like he's only barely paying attention to it. And we have the fellow who's getting all the money out of the ATM machine. And we have the fellow who is dressed in the black suit with the sort of half carnival mask that's also black. And he is in the ridiculously fashionable like bakery. I don't know. It's a bakery boutique, basically. It's like one of those really expensive baked goods places. There's artisanal breads, chocolates, like all sorts of just the most expensive, sweet and dainty foods you could get. And he is in there just like gorging himself on those. And he's yelling something that's it sounds like he's almost like trying to give some sort of like lecture about some topic. It's tough to tell from where you are because he's actually inside that bakery, like eating all their food and stuffing his mouth with it while he's trying to give this lecture to whoever is still hiding under the tables in there. They can hear him. So those are that's what all those guys are doing. Are you focusing on the dancers? Are you going to go after one of the other individuals? What is Jack's entrance panel here?
I think it's like you see the word bubble like coming from off panel. Do not even talk about that guy. And then like her splash panel is her jumping over Harun and the dancers, and she's gonna engage the Pantalone, the guy
The ATM
taking
guy?
the money. She's. The goal is to. I think her main aim is to take his bag from him.
Okay, if you want to take something away from him, that would involve you rolling to directly engage threat.
Yeah. Oh, also, she is doing her standard thing, operating procedure. She has her own, orbiting her recording.
So, okay, so that allows you to if you're directly engaging with with your audience watching, which we've just established you are. That opens up some other options to you. Are you going to take advantage of those?
I would like to take condition, and I will go with Jack's old friend insecurity.
Okay, yeah, because they just mentioned K-Train, and that fucking guy.
I hate that guy. I saved his life.
He still hasn't forgiven you for that either.
I know. So yeah, I'm gonna mark that condition to roll superior instead of danger. That's a 10.
Okay. So you get to choose 2 options from the directly engage a threat list. You mentioned that you wanted to take the bag away from him.
Yeah.
So you can definitely do that. How do you want to do that? Do you want to, electromagnetically like pop the buckle so that it falls away from him? Do you want to see if you can grab the whole thing and just yank it off of him with your...
Oh yeah, I'm just definitely just yanking it.
Okay. And what is your second option?
I'm going to avoid whatever blows, I guess, or resist or avoid blows coming my way.
Okay.
She's just like, whoops, as she lifts his belly bag of holding into the air.
Okay, and he like flails after it, and like screeches in an just to the sort of screech you imagine you might hear if you like took away a child's favorite toy. And he has this cane in his hand, and he takes a swing at you, but you just sort of hover away from him. And his little belly bag just floats away with you. And he's shrieking and like waving the cane at you, saying, "That's mine, mine!" And he's howling, and that is his reaction. Now we have our other 2 individuals coming in. I think the next lead in, given where we are with this, I think it would be good to lead in with our delinquent. So, Mara, you come upon this tableau in this little mini mall in the bottom of this high rise. You've got you've got your friends engaged with people wearing what look to be like some sort of Art Nouveau costume from some opera somewhere or something. They're not supervillain costumes per se. They're not like spandexy or shiny or anything like that. It just looks like people from a theater just stepped in here and started doing this.
Mm-hmm. So the panel that we get is her like stepping around a corner and like taking a pack of cigarettes out of her pocket and like very ostentatiously and casually lighting one. And then we get this panel of her head, and then each of these situations in smaller panels behind her as she's looking around. And I'd like to assess the situation.
Okay. Give me a roll plus superior.
That is an 8. So I get to choose one. And what here is the biggest threat?
Okay, and this is where I have to sort of pose a question back to you. For your perception of threat, do you are you focusing on the biggest physical threat, or the biggest sort of, for lack of a better word, like operational level threat? Because there's two different answers.
Operational, like which of these guys seems to be in charge?
Okay, the person that that you perceive as being in charge here, and you're watching sort of everyone, all of these characters taking their various cues, and the person they seem to be taking their cues from is the Harlequin, the one that's doing the dancing with Columbino. Like, you notice these sort of surreptitious glances that each of these characters occasionally darts over at Harlequin as Harlequin and Columbina are dancing in that slowly tightening cage.
Okay. And they're both pretty contained. So
they're not completely contained yet, but they're like, that the situation looks like Monochrome's seems to have them kind of in a position where he might be able to sort of close that gap eventually. But there's no telling what can happen in the next few minutes, because you're not sure what these people can do.
okay, I think she just walks forward then, like past Monochrome, and as she's going toward, I think, like the bakery where that guy is talking to people, she just kind of calls out, "Don't lose that one," and like points with her cigarette at the Harlequin.
Okay. All right. And Monochrome will leave your reaction to you when we come back around to you here. And you see inside of this place as you sort of step into. Did we lose someone? No. Okay. My screen just suddenly shifted around.
Same here.
Okay. So we see you step into this door and got your cigarette in your hand. And this chubby guy in this black outfit is stuffing his face with every bit of sweets he can get a hold of, just comedically so. He still seems to be able to be giving out this lecture on medieval opera, like late medieval opera, like this late medieval, early Renaissance, operatic stuff. And he is just going off on the different characters in these various plays, and how just complete nonsense it all is, and how the modern takes on these characters has just ruined the original spirit of the characters in this situation. And he's still able to give this lecture while simultaneously shoving all of this chocolate and all of these all of these baked goods just into his face constantly. And the people, there are still people like hiding under tables here. They don't know what to make of this guy. He's just been berating them like this for, you're not sure how long, but he seems to be well into whatever lecture he's giving.
Hey. Hello. You ever see Dolores Claiborne? That Stephen King opera? That was pretty good.
Who is this King Stephen you speak of?
No. Stephen King, the novelist. Horror stuff? No. Anyway, he wrote this opera, and I think there might have been murder in it. I don't remember. It was a while ago. But anyway, I think, honestly, like if you're looking for the pinnacle of opera, that's the one you want. None of this old stuff.
What? And he gets sort of flabbergasted, and he starts to go in. Every great opera has to deal with 3 themes. And he starts going into this like long thing. And, you know, and he says, of course, one of them is death. Always there is death. And always there is a tragedy. Always there is a tragedy. But there must also always be love. And the central part is love. And they just sort of keep going. And he starts to go in on that like deep dive stuff. And are you looking to kind of provoke him here? Are you engaging one of your delinquent moves? Like, what kind of effect are you looking to get out of him for this?
I was aiming for provoke someone, but I don't.
I know one of your delinquent moves. Some don't you have like there's one of them that does that confuses or befuddles your opposition. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I did not take that one.
Okay, so you're looking to provoke. Are you looking to provoke him to anger, to distraction? Like what reaction are you attempting to push him towards?
To distract him like long enough that I can kind of wave or just like the people that he's talking to out of the room.
Okay, you're looking to provoke, so roll plus superior.
That's a 6, unless we have some team.
Well, let's talk about that. I think we haven't gotten everybody involved in here yet, but our basic team would start out at 2. So we'll take a minute here to get to address how our team will work. Every time you engage with any kind of foe as a team, you begin with 2 team in the team pool. I would ask this to begin with. Who seems to be the leader here? Who's giving cues and taking them?
Oh, really? Because it seems like Mara's the one who actually figured a thing out and gave advice to a member of her team.
No one has given me a single order.
Well,
that's because as leader, I trust all of you.
Oh, is that so?
Okay.
I think figurehead might be more appropriate, but you know.
So there's disagreement about who the leader is, apparently. I think that's the thing, right?
Well, yeah. So, all right. It sounds like we have at least probably 2 votes for Mara right now. Monochrome, who would you lean towards as a leader? Yourself, Jack, or Mara?
I set up the Harlequin for an amazing attack, and she jumped right over me. Mara told me about him, so I have to go with Mara.
Okay. All right. So, Mara, I have a question for you as the current majority vote team leader for this encounter. Do you have influence over every other teammate?
I don't. I only have influence over one person.
Okay. So we don't add another team on there. All right. Does everyone have the same purpose in this fight? A purpose could be stop these guys from doing whatever this crazy stuff is they're doing. But if you have another purpose you'd like to outline, Mara, what purpose would you say the team that you have in this fight?
Just to find out what's going on, because this is weird.
Okay.
And also stop them, I guess.
Okay. All right. Does everybody agree that figuring out what's going on, and probably stopping these guys would be the team's main focus here?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we add a team to the pool for that. So let me add that on our team on the roll for your party site. I've put on the team here to as orange dots or orange tokens. So I'll add another token there. Okay, and for our last team question, do you think your team is ill prepared or off balance? What
We
do you
don't
got?
feel caught flat-footed, but we also didn't go looking for this.
Yeah, but I think that's different. I think, it sounds like you guys are responding fairly well. I mean, I haven't seen anyone that's go completely off kilter with this. So I don't think I would remove a team for being ill prepared or off balance. This doesn't seem like a situation that has found you, like they haven't come after you at your house or anything. This is a place where, I mean, this is New Gauntlet City. This is a place where there's going to be some super crime at some point. This is a mini mall. There's going to be a fight here. Like everybody knows it. So, okay. So right now, you have 3 team in the team pool.
And do we get experience for misses in this game?
You do. You get to mark potential for each 6 or less you roll. So you can choose to take the mix. But if you choose to ask for some help from the team, they can describe how they help you, and you can spend a team to give yourself that 1 bump up to get the 7 to 9 result. Or you can spend teams selfishly and shift your labels to give you an extra +1 by lowering one of your other labels and heightening your superior for this particular for this scene.
My superior is already pretty high.
Yeah.
I'll take the miss.
Okay. I think what happens is he looks at you and he says, "Just who do you think you are?" And he's lecturing you while he's got this, like, these baked goods sort of just spilling out of the side of his mouth, because his mouth was full when he started talking, and it's not any less full now. His fingers have little bits of like chocolate frosting and cream that have burst out of these pastries as he's beating him, and he's just pointing at you and slinging his finger and just screaming at you. "Who are you to speak to me about art? Look at you. You are a child. You have no true understanding of art. How could you? You have not lived life in a way to see art." And he is berating you, and he is going to inflict a condition. And I think, based on this situation, this is going to push you into, I think, I'll let you choose. This can either push you towards insecurity, or it can push you towards angry. Which one of those two would you prefer for Mara to be pushed to?
Let's do angry. I
Okay.
don't really care about opera.
Okay. Yeah. And as a part of this, he is also attempting to push your labels and shift your labels. He is trying to shift your superior down and your mundane up. You can reject that or accept it, because this guy is an adult.
Does that actually, like, what is the mechanical effect of these things changing?
Okay, if your labels shift, that changes your roles with those particular labels. So if your mundane goes up, all the roles that rely on mundane, like comfort and support and things like that, would be easier for you. But the downside of this is he's also lowering your superior. And as a delinquent, a lot of your moves and a lot of the moves that delinquents tend to use tend to focus on the superior stat, like provoke, like assess the situation, stuff like that. That's based on superior. So that's going to make those things harder because he's affecting your image of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Then I would like to try to reject it.
Okay. So when you attempt to reject influence, when you reject someone's influence, roll with no modifier. On a hit, you successfully hold to yourself and tune them out. On a miss, their words hit you hard. Mark a condition, and the GM will adjust your labels. You've already marked a condition here, so I probably wouldn't mark it the second one, but I would get to it. But you would adjust your labels accordingly if you miss.
Okay, and I got an 8.
Okay, you on a hit, you successfully hold to yourself and tune them out. On a 7 and 9, you also have to choose. You also choose one of this list. You can clear a condition or mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong, and whatever they said to you. You can shift one label up or down, your choice, meaning you can change your labels how you want them to change. Or you can cancel any influence they have over you and take +1 forward. So if you want to engage in a direct act to prove them wrong, you get to clear a condition or mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong.
Okay, so
So which of those do you think
This is kind of
you'd like to do?
I have a condition that he just gave me, so I would like to clear that if possible. But is the condition to clear it different than the thing he's telling me, or
No.
they...
What he's basically what he's telling you is that you're not in any position to discuss anything with him because basically you're a punk kid and your opinion doesn't count. Like that's the vibe he's sending you as a part of this. So acting to reject that can be basically you like getting right back in his face and, telling him, what the fuck do you know about me, old man? That sort of thing. Like you could do something like that. And just throw the question back into his face about about the whole thing or whatever else you think would be appropriate to sort of twist that back on him.
Okay, and sorry, I'm still so doing that thing would then also clear the condition, even if it doesn't necessarily fulfill the requirements of it.
Exactly, because that's a special effect of resisting that resisting his influence and resisting him sort of forcing his opinion of you, onto your self-image. You actually become more sure of yourself by rejecting his attempts to influence you. So it sort of settles, from the perspective of the game, from the meta part of the game, it settles your opinion of yourself down to where you might still be angry at him, but you won't be so angry that it's messing with your ability to act. Because that's what the conditions are. They're an emotional response that is so extreme that it actually interferes with your ability to do things and do them well. Now, the clear condition action that's listed under the condition is something you can do like in downtime or a side scene or even a main scene if you want, that's not connected to anything else that would let you immediately clear that condition. So if you want, you don't have to take the option to clear the condition. You can mark potential and then hurt someone or break something important. You could decide to do that and to clear the condition later if you wanted to.
Okay. So as he's kind of yelling at her, see her look down, like drop her cigarette, and then there's that shrinking down to nothing, and she reappears right in front of him and kind of hooks a thumb over her shoulder and says, maybe not love, but friendship. Yeah, those guys are all right. And then I'm going to punch him in the face.
Perfect. Okay. I think, are you kind of, is this, kind of an attempt to take him out like physically, or are you looking to provoke him into doing something else? How are you intending your punch to go? What reaction are you looking to have here?
Get him to stop talking.
Okay, sounds like you're trying to directly engage him and basically try to shut him up and punch him out. Does that seem fair? Okay. All right, let's roll to directly engage a threat. Normally you would roll with plus danger. So roll plus danger here.
That is an 8.
Okay, you get to choose one option from the list for directly engage a threat. You can choose to resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
And he doesn't really have any things on him, right? Besides the food.
Right. He's got that costume on. He's got the little hat and the mask. He's got that costume. He's got the stuff that he keeps feeding himself.
Okay,
and
let's surprise the opposition.
Okay, this is definitely a surprise. Like, he was not expecting you to teleport next to him and punch him in the jaw. So you clock him. And I think what happens with this punch, because you did not choose to resist or avoid their blows, is you will take a powerful blow because of this in this particular situation. Okay, and here's the form that it takes. When you punch him, like, he spins like comically, like a top, like you've punched him and he just sort of spins around way more than the force of your punch would normally elicit. Like, it surprises you how comically he reacts to this punch, but he still takes it like it really is taking him out. And he sort of collapses, and when he stumbles away, to great comedic effect, he is knocking over one of these shelves, and it's going to basically fall on top of both you and him. If you are not able to resist this powerful blow. So to take a powerful blow, you roll 2d6 plus any conditions you currently have marked. Now, as I recall, you took the option to remove your condition, correct?
So with no modifiers, it's a 6.
Yeah. Okay. You mark potential because you rolled a 6 or less. On take a powerful blow, the normal structure of moves in Masks and in every other Powered by the Apocalypse game is reversed. So rolling a 6 or less is great. So describe to me how you deftly avoid this falling shelf. Do you teleport out of the way? Do you just take a cool and calm step back with your cigarette? Or
I think, yeah, it's again that shrinkage into like this tiny speck of light that disappears, and then she reappears like 5 feet above where she was standing and lands on the thing after it's fallen.
Okay, and it lands on top of him, and like you hear it oof from underneath the shelf as you land on top of the shelf that has landed on top of him, and he is now just slumped. His grubby hands with all the chocolate and cream on them are sticking out from under this shelf in this sort of almost Wile E. Coyote pose of just comedic unconsciousness. Last, we come to our Skyan Harbinger. You come in, you see this tableau of just all of this absolutely ridiculous stuff. You see monochrome with this sort of slowly closing cage around these two figures that are dancing. You see Jack Flash leading this looks like an old man and wearing red pajamas basically around as he's like he's taken his bag full of money away from him, and the guy's chasing him with a stick or a cane around trying to get the bag of money back, to absolutely no effect. Like, Jack is just hovering with the bag out of his reach.
Okay.
And you're not sure what happened, but you see Mara standing on top of a shelf that is sitting on top of somebody else in a black in some sort of black outfit that seems to be covered in like chocolate sauce and baker's cream.
Wow. So it seems like we've got everything handled?
Not quite. The dancers are not caught. They are still dancing, but this web or cage that Monochrome is trying to put around them is slowly constricting their movement, but Monochrome has not caught them yet. Like they're slowly being confined, but they're not completely caught. And the fellow with the red pajamas, he's not really stopped. He's just angrily chasing Jack, trying to get his money bag back.
And I did hear through whatever communications we have Mara say, get the Harlequin.
Yes.
Will I know? Okay. I'll know which one the Harlequin's chasing Jack. Is that right?
Actually, strangely enough, the Harlequin is one of the two dancers. He's the one
that Monochrome's trying to capture. Okay.
Right. And the Harlequin is the one that's in the almost kaleidoscope colored clothing. Like he's wearing this sort of suit that has all these different patches of all different colors all over it. And he's wearing this Harlequin mask.
Nice. Way to corral him, Haroon. Or Monochrome. Sorry. Crap, I'm bad with. And I think that Harbinger will just unleash some magical force, like a magical blast, try to knock Harlequin down.
Okay. I think we're directly engaging a threat here. It sounds like that's what you're going for, if I'm understanding you correctly. Okay.
Definitely.
All right, let's roll plus danger, unless you have another move that enables you to switch that up for some
Oh,
reason.
no, I like my danger, and I'm definitely doing that. I rolled a 7. I have a 2 in danger. I will leave it at a 9.
Okay, so that is a 9.
Can I spend a point of team to help?
You can.
I think that I will start focusing up the cage I have. It actually forms into this weird pentagram and traps him in the middle to make the magic hit dead on.
Ooh. Okay. Harbinger, choose 2 options.
Fantastic. I'm not worried about resisting or avoiding their blows. It's fine. I want to create an opportunity for we're trading blows, and I get to pick 2 as well. So take something from Harlequin, his control of the others, right? He's the boss. So that's what I want, because Mara said he's the boss. So I want to take away that control.
Okay.
And yes.
And what was your second option?
I'm not worried about impressing him, because we're just going to beat him. And I'm not worried about resisting, which means I'll create an opportunity for my allies.
Okay. All right. I think the form this takes is the way you've described your magic working. You're almost sort of like letting it loose, not controlling it so much as just sort of like throwing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He just grabs from the amulet. He grabs cosmic energy and magic energy, shapes it into like a Hurricane, and then throws it.
Okay. I think what happens is this magical blast sort of catches Harlequin and Columbina, his dance partner, and basically knocks them apart. And Columbina falls to the side and collapses. And you see, like, as Harlequin falls, you see like the mask fall off. And he staggers back as well. And you sort of, and the other figures in there, you sort of feel it, I think, because of your awareness of magical energy and cosmic energy. You sort of feel this sort of almost like this tiny little shockwave kind of radiate out from him. And the other people who are so comedically attired just sort of stop whatever they're doing and look around like very confused. Like they don't say anything yet, but like they have this sort of blank look on their face, like what am, and because he did not choose to resist or avoid their blows, I think we see this. Harlequin, or whoever this person is, because you can't quite see their face. They're still sort of face down on the ground, but they reach into their costume and they pull out a walking stick and they whack the walking stick down on the floor. And suddenly, you're not sure exactly how this happened, but you're guessing it has some sort of magical effect. But all of a sudden, it seems like those floor panels where the floor panel where Harlequin is and the floor panel where Columbina are just flip like a piece of a stage or a wall in a Scooby-Doo cartoon where like it just suddenly flips and they're gone. And that is his counterpoint to that's it. That's his move. You took away his control, so the others are still there, and they're sort of stumbling around and seemingly like questioning what the heck they're doing. Like a couple of them have taken off the masks if they had them on, like the fellow in the red outfit and the old man mask has sort of taken off the old man mask, and it's not an old man. It looks like just some guy, medium height, maybe in his 30s. So maybe old from your perspectives as teenagers, but not like an old man like he seemed to be pretending to be. And he's just sort of looking at himself and not understanding what's going on. The person underneath the shelf just sort of groans and doesn't say anything else. And the person wearing the monochrome makeup, the monochrome clown makeup, walks out of the clothing store and sees himself in the mirror and actually like shrieks like "God!" and seems to be completely flabbergasted that he is here in public attired this way. And back around to Monochrome. Monochrome, you see what happened there. Like they were almost caught. Like your buddy Harbinger came in. He blasted them with magical energy, like right as they were right in the middle of one of those turns to try and escape your cage. They both got walloped. They both laid out flat. And then that one guy took that stick out of his costume and whacked the floor, and then those two disappeared after those floor tiles rolled over.
Well, I think he's like slowly pulling himself back together from his weird stretching angles and finally becoming more human, and he waits till his mouth forms before he actually starts speaking, just to not freak people out. And he turns to Harbinger. It's like, it seems that they live to fight another day.
Yeah. Go team name TBD, because we just drove them off.
Yeah, we have some other work to be doing, and I think there's like a wry smile on his face as he realized Jack went for like one of the henchmen. We'll have some interesting discussions later tonight, I bet. Let's go congratulate Mara. She's the one who really helped us figure out what was going on today.
Legal was right. She's the best of us.
The Eagle's full of shit, but he's fun.
And Mara sees the two of you coming over and looks around and sees that they're gone and looks at you, Monochrome, and said, didn't I say don't lose them? What happened?
Well, we lost them.
Yeah. No kidding.
They pulled a stage stunt.
Wait. You say lost them. I say drove them off and stopped them from doing further crime.
And I think, Jack, as you're sort of hovering out there, we'll sort of break from there right there on that line. The fellow that was chasing you around just stopped chasing you once those other two disappeared, and has taken off that mask and is just looking around going, where am I? What am I doing here? What the hell am I wearing?
Yeah, Jack is just cutting the broadcast and dropping the money and going in to see the others. Explaining to this dude what's going on is not her, it's not her thing.
Okay. And you can hear sirens in the distance, like police sirens. Like somebody obviously called the cops and they're on their way. And you guys are all now in that bakery shop with Mara standing on top of some poor bastard underneath that shelf full of baked goods.
Yeah, and
Great job,
coming off it,
Harun.
And it's like fishing around for what's left of her cigarette. I feel like we should run.
Well, give me a second, please. I think Harun opens up himself for like a lamprey mouth, goes over the table where the guy was eating all the food, and he pulls back up and the food's gone.
Jesus, you couldn't have done that to the Harlequin?
I'm not going to I'm still human enough. Is this some kind of sleepwalker woke ass thing of yours?
What?
Not even cool enough to know the correct Twitter handles. We'll work on this.
Anyway.
It is amazing how becoming an ooze has not made you any less of a prick. It's really incredible.
Anyway, Mara's like dusting off her cigarette and like relighting it.
I'm grabbing Harbinger like reaches around the little pastry, grabs a couple pastries, it drops a 20.
Oh Jesus,
starts
come
handing
on.
them out.
Yeah, the person cowering behind the register counter says, "Thank you."
You're welcome. I figure, you need the money to fix all the stuff that's broken. Hope you have insurance.
And you're welcome.
You said
Thank you too. Like, are they all gone?
Yeah, they're all gone. Well, the ones who matter anyway. I'll write a review on you.
Metaphorically.
And does anybody help the poor guy out from under that shelf?
Oh, is he stuck? I'll totally help him. I thought he was just cowering.
No. The shelf fell on top of him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were cowering under that fallen shelf. I didn't realize it'd fallen on you. And I'll try to levitate the shelf because I could lift it, but it's way cooler if I.
Oh yeah, you just levitate the shelf. This isn't really a stressful situation at this point. So,
I'll reach in, take his wallet, and just start throwing his money on the table that I finished the food off of.
Okay. He doesn't have a wallet in that outfit.
How dare you?
There are pockets on there, but they're stuffed with chocolates, like little chocolate candies and other assorted little bits of licorice and things like that.
Is anyone getting a serious John Wayne Gacy vibe from this?
I don't know what that means.
Serial killer clown guy.
Uh-huh.
But I guess it seems pretty obvious what's going on, but yeah.
We fight some weird people, and I'll just help dust the guy off.
I fought weirder.
And he just sort of looks at all of you and goes, "What's going on?" And he sort of takes off the little black mask he was wearing and that's attached to the little hat he had on. It's like, where Where am I? What? Why was I wearing this?
Hey, buddy, congrats on your debut.
What?
You into opera?
I mean, I've been to one.
Oh,
Oh my God. Okay. Was it the Stephen King one?
I don't think so. I mean, I went with somebody on a date, and like they were really into it, but I couldn't understand any of the words. It was in some other language, so I don't think it was a Stephen King one. That would have probably been better, honestly, but because I would have at least probably been able to understand that.
Was it? Were Tell me about this opera. Actually, I have a theory.
Well, it was something Italian,
Commedia dell'arte.
Aida.
maybe. I think.
Are they
Butterfly
all
one.
wearing masks and being?
Yeah. I mean,
ridiculous.
they were wearing masks and like doing songs and like it was not. Was it?
What's the
sure
last
if it-
thing you remember?
The last thing I remember was the show finishing and getting up to leave.
But nothing after that.
I had to have gotten home, right?
I don't know, man.
Oh God, what? He looks outside. He sort of now is just glancing like out the door and sees that it's still daylight. It's daylight outside, and he goes, "Oh my God, what day is this?" Like,
How you feeling stomach wise?
I mean, I feel like probably like I ate too much.
Any history of heart issues?
I don't think so.
Okay, should be fine.
He's like sweating and sort of like minor panic attacky maybe. Like I don't understand what's going on. I don't. And about this time, you guys can sort of see the police cars pulling out front through the glass doors that allow like entrance into the front entrance of this little like mini mall area. What are you guys doing?
There's still a bag of money on the floor outside, right?
Yeah, a like leather. It looks like leather belly bag that is like now like ridiculously overfull of money.
Amara like looks up, clocks the police. Like we see her eyes like go down to the floor. Then she teleports, grabs the bag of money, teleports back. Well, this will make you feel better. Then she takes out like this stack of 20s or whatever and just hands it to the guy.
That's not his.
I don't.
It is now. That's how it works. Possession. 9/10.
Yeah, because really familiar with the law, huh?
But what day is it?
You were mind controlled as part of this thing. You didn't do anything crazy. Just ate a bunch and yelled some random crap. You're fine. Talk to the cops.
And I think
It's Thursday.
I think I'm helping him out by showing him the selfie I took with Karisu for my Yelp review of this place, but like it has the calendar in the background.
Oh, and
Here we go.
Oh, and he looks at it and says, "Okay. I saw the show last night. Okay, so it's just been like last night. So somebody mind controlled me?
Hang on.
Yep.
You went with someone, you said, yeah?
Yeah."
What they look like?
And about that time, you see like the clown guy sort of wander down, like the guy who's in the monochrome clown suit, who has like scraped that grease paint off his face, like using like the hat he had, like the little skull cap he was wearing. He's taken that and he's like scraped the grease paint mostly off his face, and you see the guy that you're standing with, like scream, "James, you asshole! You got me mind controlled at your stupid fucking opera!" And he like runs at the guy, and like the guy who's just scraped all the grease paint off his face, is looking really confused and says, "Bill, what the?" and tackle.
Can I electromagnetically repel them apart from each other?
Oh yeah, I mean they're not any kind of threat. You don't have to unleash on that. That's just you sort of like focus it and just create this sort of field that sort of like pushes them apart. And the cops are coming in the door now. You guys want to tell them what happened? You leave them to figure it out with these poor bastards? What do you want to do?
Who wants to talk to the cops?
I think you're the face, Jack.
Thanks.
This is you may end up on the local news.
You need the presence,
I'll go talk
Lieutenant.
to him.
Okay.
I'll go explain what happened.
Okay. The cops are coming in and they sort of see like everything has died down. Like they came in with their hands like on their holsters, but then they kind of see that it looks like everybody's sort of wandering back out and seems to be a little bit calmer now. So they they see you guys, and they recognize you because you were all over SeeYa.com.
Mara has
City from that
teleported
crazy
away.
mind-controlled superhero. So what I'm presuming Jack is approaching.
Yes.
Okay. They just sort of look at you and they gravitate towards you because you right now you're the most famous of the group currently. Although Monochrome has that sort of presence, maybe. So Jack, you're Jack Flash, right?
Yep, that's me.
What's going on here? We got calls about people in crazy, in crazy costumes, like messing up the stores here. And he like looks over at the bakery and like sees the overturned shelves and like the pastries everywhere. And he sees like the ATM is still like spitting out money. Like it still seems to be doing that.
Seems like it was a dude whose power was to control people to make them fit these operatic archetypes with his mask. I think it looked like. Hard to say for sure. So the people in the ridiculous outfits are the ones that were being controlled. They're innocent, as far as we can tell. Guy who's controlling them and the lady he was with are still at large.
Okay, why are those two trying to attack each other? And you see the other two, like the guy in the black outfit is still trying to like reach and grab for the guy that was in the clown grease paint.
Personal issues.
Okay, so you're
Torah is known for getting cuckolded, so.
You're thinking these guys were mind controlled? Is it another thing like Starborn? Like are we dealing with like a copycat thing?
This, I doubt it. This guy seemed like to have a more specific. He made him fit all these comedic archetypes. I don't know how familiar you are with Italian the history of theater or anything. It's not a big deal.
You see this glaze sort of form over his eyes.
They were mind controlled. It's probably not the same thing.
And he looks visibly
It's up to you guys to find out, right?
Listen, we appreciate you. We appreciate you guys stopping. We weren't sure what the heck we were going to have to deal with. And you can see like the rest of the crews, like you can see outside, like there was like 2 SWAT vans out there too. Like, and he's like, SWAT can stand down. We had a mind controlled incident, seems to be under control. And he turns back. He looks like, I'm going to try and get additional statements from them and give you guys the opportunity. Do you want to stay and give statements, or do you want to like do that Batman disappearing act sort of thing before you have to go on the official public record here?
Oh, as soon as Mara teleported out of here, which I believe I heard her say she did, Haroon was sneaking out like by slinking under the back door and out the back.
Easily done. Harbinger, what are you doing?
It's Jack's talking to them, right? She's doing the thing. I'm just kind of hanging out, eating a cruller.
Okay. All right. And Mara has teleported out. Is that right?
Yeah, she did that a while ago.
Okay. So we've got. Jack, you basically give a statement to the police.
Yeah.
And since you're the only one there, you can frame it however you want to frame it.
All right. Yeah. I'll basically stick to the truth. I'll, put maybe a little more emphasis than I should on how Harun accidentally let them get away. And I'll show them like stills from the stream to show them like who they're looking for. And tell them, he can like teleport and probably has a bunch of other tricks and stuff. So watch out for that.
Okay, and they thank you for your assistance. And I think the officer who first appeared and basically took your statements down on their little mini iPad they're using for this purpose, he hands you a card and says, if you or any of your team think of any other details about this thing that you think might help us, just give me a call. I'll plug it into the report. We really appreciate what you guys did with the Starborn thing, and we really appreciate you guys handling this thing before it got out of control.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. You done here?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thanks. And she's gonna wait till he's out of sight, but she's just gonna toss probably just electrically incinerate that card.
Oh god, yeah. It's gone. Okay, and you guys just leave. Harbinger and Jack, you guys leave at that point?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for sticking around.
I know that's not your core audience, but don't you think you could have, I don't know, been a little nicer to those guys?
They're cops.
Yeah, they were super respectful and thankful for our help and willing to pick up the pieces we left behind. It seemed pretty.
All right, if you're gonna police how I'm acting, we don't need to actually have this conversation. So.
Jack, hey, the cameras aren't on.
Yep.
You can. We're here to do the right thing, right? It's not just a show.
Yeah. And yet, they got away. So.
That's true. Okay, I don't want to tone police you, but wow, I'm just a little disappointed.
Well, that seems to be a running theme today. So.
I would like to use my influence to shift her labels. I want to get a little more mundane out of her.
Okay. What's the actual shift you want to try and push for, Rich?
I think drop superior, increase mundane seems exactly what I was angling for.
Okay. And Jack, I'm going to presume that Jack resists all shifting of labels. So
yes, and I am insecure, so I'm bad at it.
I think your superior's locked, though, isn't it?
Okay, so I copied this from the last thing. I wasn't sure if I should just
well, you do have the moment of truth.
I wasn't sure if I should be starting fresh. So I'm on the same slate as everybody else, or just keeping it mechanically exactly where I was at, where I had done the moment of truth and then locked a label.
For the purposes of this, for the purposes of the ongoing sort of fiction with regards to the character and the Gauntlet comics, I'll say we can say that stuff is still there.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
well, if it's locked, then I will choose.
Well, I wasn't actually
Savior?
sure that I think I wasn't sure that I wasn't sure that I wanted to lock Superior at the end. We forgot, like, because it was at the right end of the previous thing, and we didn't actually lock a label. But I wasn't sure if it should be Superior or Savior.
Okay.
Well, if you want to leave it unlocked and proceed with it, that's fine. You know, if
I think
if
it's
he-
more interesting going into this, leaving it unlocked.
Okay. Perfectly okay. So roll to reject this influence.
All right. I roll at -2. That's a 3.
Okay? The label shift happens, and
And I mark a
on this,
condition.
those words hit you hard. You mark a condition of your choice, and your labels are
Agree.
adjusted in accordance with that.
So mundane up and superior down.
Yes, indeed. And what additional condition do you think you're going to mark?
Oh, angry.
Angry. Okay, that makes perfect sense. All right. So I'm going to kind of close that right there with this one extra thing. Jack, as you guys are walking out, your phone starts to buzz, and as you pull it out, it's your favorite person in the world to get a phone call from
Oh,
after
good.
you do a live stream. It's your mom.
Hey, Mom.
And that's where we close for tonight. If everybody has time, we can do the end of session move right quick. Does everybody have time to do that? Sarah? Okay. All right. So we have come to our end of session. So I'm going to start on the left side of our character keeper and proceed from there. So we'll start with Jack Flash. Did Jack grow closer to the team, into her own image of herself, or away from the team this session?
I think she grew away from the team.
Okay. So
I mean, I think she's been kind of not exactly sure what happened between summer and end of summer and now, but she's been kind of pissy. So
okay.
that certainly didn't help. But I think I will take influence away from monochrome.
Okay. And what about the situation made you feel more detached from the team with this particular series of events?
I mean, a lot of it is like, I mean, she's frustrated with herself for like lashing out because of her own insecurities, but also she's, I don't think she necessarily felt super comfortable with this group to begin with. And like things going the way they did and her reacting the way they did just solidified that.
Okay. I think that makes sense from Jack's perspective. So next we will proceed to the next character along our character keeper list, and that will be Harbinger. Rich, how did the Harbinger go closer to the team, away from the team, or into their own image of themselves?
Closer to the team. I mean, we did fail to capture them, but we saved a lot of people from getting hurt. So I feel good. Like we're making a difference here. And so I feel the person who made me feel welcome is our leader for today is Mara. So I'll give her influence over me.
Okay. Do you clear a condition or mark potential?
Yeah, I'll mark my one potential the whole game. That's it. Only got one.
Okay. Mara, did you already have influence over him?
She did not.
I did
Okay.
not.
Okay, now you do. So now you can mess with him. And speaking of Mara, Mara, did you grow closer to the team, away from the team, or into your own image of yourself?
Are those 3 separate choices?
Right. If you go closer to the team, you would explain like who made you feel like you were part of this team, like you were an important part of the team. If you grew away from the team, you'd basically describe what made you feel more detached from the team this time, and you would remove influence from the person that your character blames for that situation. And then you would get to shift your you get to
Okay.
remove that influence.
If I choose any of those options, I'm going to just have to ask you to explain them all over again.
Okay.
So the third one, growing into your own image of yourself, is that a third
Yes.
discrete option? Okay, what is that one?
If you grow into your own image of yourself, you explain how you see yourself now and why, and you shift one label up and one label down, those label of your own choice. So basically, it lets you shift your stats around to reflect how you're seeing yourself now.
What's the highest a stat can go?
The highest it can go is 3. The lowest it can go is -2.
I think grow into your own image of yourself.
Okay.
So I'm going to shift my superior up to 3 and mundane down. Because like I was able to like very quickly like keep that guy from getting to me at all. Like there's a moment, but then it was gone.
Okay, so your ability
I
to
feel like I
basically
had-
shut that dude down sort of made you much more sure of yourself.
And I feel like the situation in general too. Like she felt like she was in control there.
I definitely see that. I think that works. Okay, and monochrome. Closer to the team, away from the team, or into your own image of yourself?
I think into my own image of myself, which I will say is minus mundane up savior. I mean, I went for the right people before we even knew which ones were the right people. And thanks to me, you know, how humbleness meant, I did help our scion take out the Harlequin and Columbina.
Okay, I think that makes sense given the whole situation. All right. So we've got our end of session move completed, and on that, I will end the stream for tonight. For all of you watching, thanks for watching. Come back for our next session, and we will have 2 more this month.